What's up, everybody? Welcome to an edition of Flipping the Bird podcast. I am not Luke Lawhorn, the sports editor. I am Rylan, Soria, a member of the Paisano sports staff, and I'm here with Haley. Haley, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Rylan. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So we are in the Alamo Dome
Yes, we
at
are.
12:57 in the morning. Right? Morning? Yeah.
Yep.
And where UTSA is coming off a dominant victory against South Florida, in which we saw Frank Harris throw 6 touchdowns. We saw the defense hold South Florida to 21 points through 4 quarters. So, Haley, what are your overall thoughts on just how the game went?
You know what? I want to praise the defense for a second here. I feel like we don't ever give the defense enough credit, and the defense, as you and I discussed earlier, held the Bulls to 1 touchdown a quarter, except for the final quarter where they left them scoreless.
Right.
So I'm really proud of how the defense performed tonight. Obviously, we were very focused on record-breaking athletes that happen to be more on the offensive side, but I am very proud to be a Roadrunner and proud to support this defense, and they did incredible tonight, holding them to 21 points.
And which, hilariously, the theme of senior night was the seniors, right? Frank Harris, like I said, 6 touchdowns. Rashad Wisdom led the team with 8 tackles. Nick Troy Fortune had an interception. So it really seemed like the game plan was just let the seniors ball out, and well, that seems to be a good recipe for success because they absolutely dominated South Florida. So going into this game, there's a lot of emotions, right? Obviously, senior night, and the report last night that Jeff Traylor interviewed for the Texas A&M job, which he did not confirm nor deny in the post-game press conference. He just said he's got 18 seniors playing tonight. It's a shame that that's what we're talking about. So coming into this game, one thing that we were looking for is how can they manage these emotions and not let them slip into a hole against a USF team that has a good offense, but a bad defense, and just not letting themselves get caught in a trap game with Tulane coming up. So Tulane, this is it. The last game potentially of Frank Harris, Rashad Wisdom careers at UTSA. What's the team going to need to do in order to secure a win on the road?
Well, need to do, I'm not sure, but you and I discussed the game before the game even started, and I asked you, what were your predictions for the game? And you thought that UTSA might struggle in the beginning because it is such an emotional night. There's 18 seniors leaving us. And even Rashad Wisdom in the post-game conference talked about, he was like, he thought that they were kind of slacking in the beginning, but honestly, I didn't see that much slack. Of course, UTSA was not the first to score, but they came back really hard, and as soon as they tied at 14-14, they held South Florida to, their own. So I'm not sure what they're going to need to do for Tulane, but if they can outperform emotions like they did tonight, I don't know. I think I might have to call and say they might be good to go and be ready for Tulane. What do you think?
It's tricky because, currently UTSA has not ever beat a ranked team, and as of right now, barring anything crazy, Tulane will go into that matchup as a ranked team. UTSA hasn't been in this position where they don't control their own destiny as far as playing at the Alamo Dome the past 2 years. All they had to do was just win the games that they needed to win.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So this is kind of unfamiliar territory. You got large stakes. You'll be playing on ABC on Black Friday against a ranked opponent. I mean, I don't know, Haley. Just what if you could pick one player that you think needs to have a perfect performance? Who do you think that was going to be against Tulane?
A perfect performance. We can always say somebody like Frank Harris because he's the leader of the team as the quarterback. We can always point out Joshua Cephas. But I think somebody I'd like to see play a bit more would be Devin McCune. He made the first touchdown of the night, and honestly, when he made that first touchdown, I was about to turn to you and be like, I'm calling it right now. This is going to be the top scorer of the game. And it obviously didn't work out like that, but I'd love to see more from him, and I think if he pushes himself a bit more, we'd find a lot of success in Tulane.
Right, so you're saying that, like, everybody knows about Cephas. Everybody knows about Frank. Everybody knows about Kavorian Barnes, Robert Henry.
Yeah.
So in order to push us past an opponent like Tulane is to have someone younger, someone with, less experience kind of take over the game.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like, sneaking around the defense. And I know you haven't seen Lord of the Rings, but I always reference Austin Eckler as a hobbit.
Right.
Because the hobbits are able to sneak around goblins and trolls and whatever because they're unknown and mostly because they're little. And so not that I'm saying McCune is little, but I'm saying that because he's maybe unknown to other teams, that it might work out for him, and
he might go under the radar.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we should definitely push McCune to go further.
All right. So I'm gonna put you on the spot right here.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I need a final score prediction against Tulane.
Oh, shoot. That's going to be a hard one. I think, all in all, let's cap it at 60 points.
60 points.
So I think the game will be about 60 points, and that'll be for both teams.
Mm.
I can't say who I think is, I think UTSA will get a good 30, and I'm hoping we can keep Tulane under 30.
Under 30?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Exact final score.
Exact final score.
If you had to give one, just throw a couple numbers out there.
All right, let's do Tulane 28.
Okay.
And let's do let's do UTSA random score. We'll just say 37.
37.
Yeah.
37,
I would
28.
love to have a good strong lead over Tulane. That'd make me feel confident.
I'm actually going to go with a lower score.
Okay.
I'm going to go UTSA 28, Tulane 24.
Oh, okay.
UTSA goes on the road, upsets a ranked opponent, punches their ticket to their third conference championship in the road, which would, barring a loss to UNT, which would be in Dallas against SMU. So yeah, 28-24. I think it's going to be really like low scoring first half, and then kind of like we've seen in these past couple games, the scoring starts to pick up in the second, third, and fourth quarter. So yeah, 28-24. You should say road dub. That's what I think.
So do you think the defenses will be able to kind of prohibit each other from scoring then?
I do. I think that they'll be able to contain, because Michael Pratt for Tulane is really good. So it's going to be a quarterback matchup, and I think that's where the defense's focus is going to be, is containing Frank Harris and UTSA containing Michael Pratt, trying to keep their impact on the game as if they want to beat us with whoever the running back is or whoever their defensive line is, anybody else besides that quarterback, so be it. But we don't want him to take over the game, and just same way they don't want Frank Harris to take over the game, like he did tonight against USF. If they want us to beat them with Kavori Barnes, with Robert Henry, with whoever else, they want to make the defense earn it. They don't want this to be Frank Harris pops off on Black Friday.
Right. As much as we'd love to see
as much as we'd love to see it, that's probably what their game plan is going to be, because of just how much the offense is centered around Frank. With his legs, 3 rushing touchdowns tonight, his ability to get the ball to Josh Cephas, and when you limit Frank, you limit Cephas, and that's really the strength of the offense, is that receiving core.
That's true. And speaking of Frank, we have some record breaking from him tonight and Cephas. Let's talk a little about that.
Yeah, so he tied his most touchdowns in a game with 6 from 2021 against Western Kentucky. He was 3 yards away from breaking the single game passing yards record. Didn't happen. They subbed him out like 2 plays after he had like a pass that almost got there. So yeah, I mean, just Frank doing Frank. Traylor really let him play. I mean, he could have taken him out at the beginning of the third quarter, but he didn't. He wanted today to be about Frank and to be about Rashad and to be about Josh. And those were the 3 guys you really saw do best. Cephas 163 and a touchdown. Frank 6 touchdowns. Rashad led the defense with tackles. Yeah. This was their moment.
That's so true. We just got to talk to these guys, and Cephas kind of, almost broke down to the media, saying that he's just so thankful, even despite everything that's happened to him last year and this year and the things he's been able to overcome, all the adversity. Yep. But yeah, Cephas did break the record for most receiving yards gained by a wide receiver, bypassing Zachary Franklin. So that was a huge thing for him tonight, and you can tell it meant
a lot.
Yeah, it meant a lot to him. So we got to witness that. That was great.
And one thing I was actually surprised about in the post-game press conference was his willingness to talk about a situation. He wants to put it out there.
I was really surprised by that.
He wants to put out there that he knows what he did was wrong. And part of the reason he started Choke Up was because he started to think about all the kids that looked up to him. And he knows how much of a role model he is in this community. And I do think he's genuinely upset. Right? So, but yes, Cephas, emotional night. I think it's past him. He's got a bright future ahead of him. He's got 1, 2, 3 more games, maybe 3 max, 2 at the most. And then we're gonna start talking about the league for some of these guys. Frank, probably not, only because of his injury history. Cephas definitely.
So you think Cephas will go on?
Oh, for sure. If there's one guy I'm sure that's getting drafted, it's Cephas.
Be Cephas.
And then Rashad. I don't know if Rocco's going to declare, but Rocco's got talent. But definitely those 2.
All right. Well, that's always something we can look forward to here at UTSA.
Yeah, and we'll be back. Maybe not Haley because she doesn't like being a part of our podcast unless she has to, which is tonight. But we will be back to discuss hopefully UTSA beating Tulane, hopefully being eligible for the AAC championship and take it from there. So unless you have anything else to add.
Well, I just wanted to say thanks for having me on and go Birds.
Of course, yes. I appreciate you coming on, filling in for Luke and Nick and Connor and Aramis. So yes, that's all we have for you today. I appreciate y'all for listening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at Paisano_sports and go Birds.
Thanks for watching. Click our logo to subscribe or click the videos for more from the Paisano. Leave a comment letting us know your thoughts and what you'd like to see us cover next.